Welcome in. Week 9 edition of the Cash Process. I'm your host, Ben Hostler, joined by Anthony Carson this week. He's back. We had this one-time appearance from Sam Sherman on the Cash Process last week, but AC is back.
Wow.
Yeah. And you know what? I was joking. I was like, I thought Sam was going to do the triple threat like me. He's going to do the three-headed monster, Cash Process, Game Theory podcast, and then the Sunday show. And I think he went out on Saturday night, Halloween weekend, got a little too crazy, and Matt had to pinch hit for him on the Sunday morning show. So, Sam, you're almost on my level. You almost did the three-parter, but,
Wow.
it's coming. Another great week for us, Anthony. So, we're going to shout out our sponsors, OwnersBox Fantasy. Head over to ownersbox.online. Promo code KARMA gets you that $500 deposit match and a free DFS entry, a free Lightning lineups entry. Travis was continuing his just domination of the Lightning lineups over the weekend. I gave out a play that won for that as well in the Discord, and it was a great week. I went to 7-1 on DK. Anthony, I think my best start ever. I
Yeah.
just feel really, really locked in right now. I've said that for the last few weeks, and I'm just gonna keep moving. And then a really, really big night on Showdown Monday night. I've done well on these Brown slates. We put Amari Cooper in the captain for the core plays for the subscribers there. Very, very close to winning. If that Bengals touchdown went to anyone other than Higgins, I think I would have
hmm
placed top three in a lot of contests. And I want to shout out my friend on the YouTube comments. I know you're watching this. Whoever this guy is, he didn't even put his name on his YouTube name. It's a bunch of letters. I have zero respect for you, buddy. I don't want to come on here and be like this and use this foul language, but if you would have left your comments on there, I would have respect. I have zero respect for you, you rat. This guy came on here. I made a video, Anthony, yesterday. Play Amari Cooper tonight. This guy starts chirping me on these comments in the first quarter when Amari Cooper throws that interception. And I'm like, dude, what is wrong with this guy? Like it's the first quarter. What are you talking about? And then, of course, Amari Cooper goes crazy. So I'm chirping him back, and then he deletes his comments. So if you would have just left
Yeah.
your comments on there and took your L, I would respect you. But you're a rat, and I know you're watching
Ha.
this. So,
Classic.
yeah,
You won.
exactly. But,
Yeah.
Anthony, how was your week? I know you were
You
traveling.
won. I love
So,
that. Mic dropping. Yeah, you've been on fire, man. Yeah. I had a traveling week. I was in Iowa State. My buddies on the football team there. It was a great experience. I was there last year for a couple games, but um yeah, just I can't stress enough. Like I'm at the point, listen, you and I have played DFS for several years where I always look at your cores. We know that I evaluate it. Now I feel like I'm losing if I don't have a core that's similar to yours because you've been absolutely on fire on all facets, showdown, main slates, and all that jazz. So again, you can access that subscription at our website dfskarma.com, and you want to see what Ben's doing and myself and everybody else. Make sure you check that out. But I had a great week on DraftKings. I think I moved to 5-3 on the year. Not as good as you, but I'm still in the green column there. And then on FanDuel, I took my first L. Ben, we talked about it. I made a big mistake of just really not keeping my head in the game over the weekend while I was traveling. I thought I was in a good spot. I thought I had a good lineup based around Sam Ellinger, if that's how you pronounce her. And I just knew going in late on Sunday that it just didn't seem right. I had a lot of salary to play with, but I ended up going the route that I still think historically I probably would make the same move in a vacuum. If you actually watch the game, he probably came short of a touchdown, not once, but twice. I don't think he would have got there regardless, but yeah, just took an L over there. I was literally on the runway texting Ben about some lineup news with Foster Monroe and some other things. So
dude,
ultimately, kind of got me in a tizzy right before lineup lock when my plane was taking off. So that was a disaster in itself. But again, I saved face on DraftKings. Thank God. I did tell Ben before the plane took off that I didn't know how the slate was going to play out with all the wide receivers from Amon-Ra St. Brown to DJ Moore to Chris Olave and a couple of the other talk guys. So I listen, there was a lot of good running backs. I made the choice of putting a wide receiver in my flex and said, let me just take all of them. And it actually worked out well. I put DJ Moore in my flex, and I was considering not playing him on DraftKings, but I already faded him last second on FanDuel, which killed me. So I decided to make sure to get some exposure there. So that's why I like to play both sides because you get to hedge around. So that's how my week go. But I am looking forward to being back in the trenches this week. and moving forward. So we have a smaller slate then. It's only 10 games. The last couple of weeks have been 11. So you're going to see even more concentration, right? More higher owned guys than you already are. So take it for what it's worth. Even my volume's been a little bit more less the last couple of weeks. But Ben, what's your thoughts overall on the macro view of the slate? Today's trade deadline. We had a lot of trades today. So we're doing this pod at a great time right now because there could be some value potentially. Let's talk about the situations of any of the trades that affect this slate. And then, of course, let's start at quarterback and move our way onward.
Yeah, the Sunday morning YouTube stream was loving the fact that you were like blowing me up while you were in your airplane, like trying to figure out like 2v2s and stuff. It was like hilarious. But yeah, you said it very well. I said it last week. DFSkarma.com/NFL if you want access. If you're playing cash games, I would recommend like if you're seriously playing cash games, because I said not everyone. I think most people that watch this probably build a cash lineup, but if you're seriously playing cash games, I think you should probably pick up a subscription, see what me and AC are doing on the weekends, just to get an idea, even if you don't want to play our exact cores. And then obviously we have really, really good tournament cores as well with guys like Matt and Sam and yourself in there. So it is, I think, a record breaking day for trades, right? I think it was like the most ever 10 on trade deadline days.
Yeah.
There was a lot going on, a lot of defensive trades. TJ Hawkinson got traded as well, but I kind of talked about it last week too. You weren't on here, but I've been playing way more head-to-heads this year. I think that
Mm-hmm.
like I'm 7-1 like in double ups and stuff too, but I think that like the edge is a little bit less there as opposed to these like $5 and less head-to-heads.
Yep.
Like there's just more mistakes that people make. So smaller slate of 10 games this week. I'll be playing probably more volume and head-to-heads as well. But at QB, I mean, Josh Allen's back on the slate. Jalen Hurts plays on Thursday night, so he's not on the slate. Mahomes is not on the slate. So, yeah, I mean, Josh Allen's going to just dominate in terms of projection. He's going to project 4 to 6 points higher than anyone else. And you're probably just going to have to find a way to fit him in for cash games, I think. I think you just play Josh Allen. Tournaments, you can make a case for, some of these other guys, but I'll probably just try and get to Josh Allen again.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I mean, keep it easy, keep it simple, right? So if you can get to them, great. I personally do think that I can't even say this right now. I might be leaning otherwise. And again, it's not a huge salary saver, which is why I probably shouldn't even think like this. But I know me and my brain, I would like to try and get to Kyler Murray if possible. It is a home game, dome game. I'm not saying the Jets are easy street anymore, but there is some defensive players on the other side of the ball. I know it doesn't matter. I know it's Josh Allen. It is a divisional game. So if I'm looking for some small potential reasons to talk, I'm trying to talk myself out of him. There is some things there, right, that at least I think aren't the most optimal matchup for him. But I really am like kind of gravitated towards Kyler Murray. I was last week too on FanDuel and DraftKings. I played him on DraftKings, had a GPP that cashed there, but I consider him heavily on FanDuel, and I'm just pissed that I kind of went away from it. Other than that, I don't think there's really anything else, right? I mean, Gino, I guess, probably is in play every week, right? In that same game, if you really need to punt at 5,800. Don't even ever talk to me about Sam Ellington ever again. Ellinger, I'll never play that guy in the history of DFS. I don't care if he turns out to
Yeah,
be a good quarterback. I
what a
don't even,
disaster.
he's probably a good value this week, at 5K. I mean, just looking at it, he didn't run as much as we thought, but I watched the game a little bit and I don't know, he didn't look that bad. I'm just obviously salty because I lost in FanDuel and I ended up
Yeah,
playing him. So I
I
should
mean,
not be salty. You
DK,
know,
like, if he was 5K last week, we wouldn't have been playing him. It's just the fact that he was
right,
4K.
right.
So,
Yeah.
uh,
It's still a good price. And like I said, just watching the game, I was like, there's more here. I'd be curious to see, Ben, in your research this week. And again, we don't need to keep talking about him, but I felt like his expectations of fantasy points should have been higher. There was just some odd things that happened in the red zone a couple of times where he didn't get in the box himself or he didn't throw for a passing touchdown. So, anyways, yeah, like obviously Allen, Kyler Murray, I consistently just am taking a look at Geno. I feel like every week and his price never moves. Burrow's there. I just don't know. I mean, obviously coming off a short week, and Carolina has good defensive players as well. Like I just don't think I could go there for cash games. Dude, what about Tua real quick? I mean, 6,700. I feel like you could go there too, right? Like at this point,
Yeah,
like I can't blame anybody if I'm playing heads up and I see Tua in there. Like I'm just not like it's. I think a year ago, obviously like Tua, I didn't ever consider, but just Tyreek changes everything, man.
I had a
So
I had
just
a terrible I had a terrible tweet back in the day that I said, not that I didn't like Joe Burrow, but I ranked Tua ahead of Joe Burrow in that draft class. So yeah,
yeah,
I need Tua to like win MVP or something, so I can be somewhat vindicated
he's
on this take.
he fits with that system. I mean, for what it's worth. But let's go to running back. And Ben, I don't know if you can pull it up or if there was a screenshot taken. Again, especially the folks watching on YouTube, if you can take a quick glance. Remember, a projections portal that Ben and I always had on the screen the last couple of years. It's a premium product now. We talk about core plays a lot, but you can access this. This is how all of us in our Discord are doing our research, not only for NFL, but NBA. Like, I don't know anything about NBA, I'll be honest with you, but like, I just go to the projections portal and I see who's popping in the karma value. You can do the same things for NFL, right? And especially like if you want to get some FanDuel action, the pricing is different. You don't want to really skip around and look at all the pricing on the app. Just go to our projections portal and like look at the karma value. Things will help you populate to your eyes to, oh, that's a really good play. And you can sort this stuff as well. And then I love to look at the ownership percentage. Like that's one of my favorite things to do, especially on Saturday, is the ownership updates throughout the week. I do like to see who looks more lower owned, right? Like, for example, I'm not saying I'm playing him right now. I'm going to let you start running back, Ben, but like I see Jonathan Taylor in both DraftKings and FanDuel at like 2% owned, and his price continues to come down. But again, I'm just thinking tournament player, right? Like, what can I do to get leverage in tournaments this week? Again, it's only 10 games. So, yeah, and just make sure you guys are checking out the projections portal, the core plays projections portal, ownership projections, the Ben's final thoughts, which is the cheat sheet that comes out on the weekends. That's all under the umbrella for like, it's like a coffee a freaking day, not even that you can access at dfskarma.com. And NBA's here too. I mean, that's like the most played DFS sport. But I digress. Let's go to running backs. Who are you looking at as your basic building blocks of the week?
Yeah, we got a nice. I got a nice win in NBA last night. Laurie Markkinen was it's like
I
15%
love that
owned,
guy.
went off, but yeah, running back looks like strong kind of mid tier again to me. I mean, we have
Mm-hmm.
Kenny Walker is still 62. I know he didn't have a great game last week, but I mean he's still 6,200 in that game against Arizona. Joe Mixon is 6,500. I don't know really what I want to do with that, but he's 6,500 at home against Carolina. Travis Etienne, I mean the Jaguars, I mean they weren't on the slate last week, but I mean they're just all in on Travis Etienne, right? Like give him this bell cow role. They
Yeah.
traded James Robinson. He went for a buck 50 and a touchdown in London. Now he's at home against the Raiders, who Alvin Kamara just destroyed last week. And there's a few other guys. So I think the mid tier, like Ramondre's there, but I can't put Ramondre above someone like Walker or Etienne or even Mixon because Damian Harris is going to play. So I think Ramondre fine for tournaments, but probably not on my cash radar. Deontay Foreman, if Hubbard's out again in that same game as Mixon, I mean he went off for 3 touchdowns or whatever it was over the weekend. He's 6K, so really, really strong mid tier again at running back. So that's probably where I'll focus. Some of the spend up
Yeah.
guys, there's no one priced over 8K. Like it's just weird, like how things have changed. I mean, Dalvin Cook, most expensive running back, he's 78. Jonathan Taylor 77. You have Josh Jacobs at 73. I'm sure he'll get some ownership again. He had a down game last week, but he's still top in opportunity share, top in red zone share on the slate. But I like this mid tier again. Like I could see ETN and Kenny Walker and guys like that making my team.
Yeah. I mean, this is without a doubt, in my opinion, the sexiest mid tier class of running backs I've ever seen in all of our years doing this podcast. Is it not? I've never seen like a group of guys, just so many guys that I can all make the case for playing, which I do think it's going to make, and I like it, what I'm about to say. I think it's going to make this week hard because there's so many good plays, and it's just going to come down to which one actually outperformed on Sunday, right? You mentioned them all, like Mixon, Jacobs, Walker. I mean, dude, even JT, I know no one's going to play him. My God, 7,700. Stevenson, ETN. I mean, even Lenny down there, I feel like no one's going to play him. And Raheem Mostert. I mean, 6,100 against Chicago, who just traded their star linebacker and they got demolished by Pollard. And, then they got crushed by the Patriots the week before. I mean, you can run on them too. So, I mean, Mostert kind of burned some people. I think he played better than we thought last week, but I mean, even he's in play. Um, there's just so many guys, man. It's like, who do we begin with? Gun to head, early in the week here. I can't stop. I mean, I mentioned this 2 weeks ago, and ultimately, just the way the slate changed with Eckler, I think somebody was out, Keenan Allen. I was going to play Joe Mixon on that one slate. And like I said, like before even Chase went down, he's seen like 4 to 6 targets a game. He's good for 4 catches a game. I mean, that's like what I want in my DFS running back. I think I'm going to start with Mixon. I know the rushing upside hasn't been there, but I'm looking at him like a receiver with upside to fall into the end zone. I mean, he's bound to have a regression game, like you mentioned, Ben, last week with Kamara. I think you either were in Discord talking about that or Twitter even before the slate started, and look what happened. I know that's just a law of averages, but I like Mixon. Man, Walker kind of burnt me a little bit last week, but I don't know if I can go away from him. I'll take another hard look at him. ETN is like, I just feel like a DFS player's dream.
He's
I
so
will
good.
say though, it's so good. I will say though, if I'm looking for warts, just like I'll say with Josh Allen, coming off, didn't they play in London? That's the only thing. I know that's still
Yeah,
minor, but
it's
it is
kind
a
of
thing.
bogus. They don't have a
It's a
bye
thing.
after the London game.
I know it's a thing, man. Especially traveling back westward. We'll have to check like start times and all that jazz, but it's a home game for them. Where were the Raiders at last week? I can't even recall right now.
New Orleans.
Yeah, they're coming to the East Coast though, so they probably flew back to the West Coast, or Vegas time, same thing, and then they're going to go to an East Coast game. I mean, that still could be very favorable for the Jags. So those would probably be the 3 guys I start. My gut tells me I'd really like Mostert this week, but I don't know if I'm going to get to him. So again, we're going to have to make lineup decisions. So that's that. Let's go to wide receiver. Do you want me to start?
Yeah, I'll just say real quick on the running back stuff with all those good plays. I'm fine with weeks like that, and that's another reason to play these head to
Yeah,
heads because I trust myself to make the right
yeah.
decisions more often than not. So I like when there's a lot of similarly priced players because I think I can pick the right combos. But yeah, you can start off at receiver if you want.
It's a great point on head to heads. Like, I know we all want to win $1 million. All of us get our tournament exposure. Let's be real. But you grind weekly, monthly, chopping wood and making your hay in cash games. And even I play a lot of heads up on FanDuel. I don't know why I haven't as much on DraftKings, but I play a lot of heads up on FanDuel. I think the market's a little bit softer there. Everybody's going to go back to DJ Moore's price, like Ben said, like literally didn't move. I feel like it was the same as last week. They're very close. I mean, going against a Cincinnati team playing on Monday night who just lost their top cornerback. I mean, Eli Apple, I
Yep.
think was out anyways. I don't know if he's going to
Yeah.
be out, but
I mean,
didn't he lose his starting job as is?
he's not very good. Awuzie is their best corner, and he's
Yeah,
out. So yeah, I mean,
yeah. So that's
DJ
huge,
Moore
and
was
Walker's
lucky
just
to
going to
get there
air it.
last week, but I mean, he should be 6,500.
Yeah, he's going to be so owned, but that's okay. Um, I'm the idiot that on the tarmac on FanDuel moved him last second. So there's that for my FanDuel reference. Sorry, I'm going to keep repeating it. I'm going to end up the season 14-1 though, Ben. Chris Godwin does stick out to me. Like, I'll let Ben get more research and he can ping me back on that. But I don't know. I feel like everybody's always scared of the Rams and stuff, and I get it. They're playing at a slower pace, but man, these Bucks got to continue to win right now and be aggressive, and they can't run. His price just seems so fair. Like, I just feel like I'm guaranteed 17 points, 18 points, which in cash games, that's really what you want to do. And Godwin has the huge ceiling upside too. So you're like getting the best of both worlds with him at more. I feel like, as we like to coin it, that'd be my building blocks to start. So without going over everybody, Ben, that's kind of who I'm looking at. Like, again, we could talk about the Tyreeks and the Justin Jeffersons and all that. But I mean, it's always hard to pay up for guys. Like, can you pay up for Devontae Jefferson, Hill, or Cup right now? I don't know if we have that much value. I don't know if I haven't even tried making a lineup, but can you fit any of the studs in? I would assume it'd be Hill if possible. I mean, Devontae does look cheap though.
Yeah. So yeah, mid tier looks strong here too. Like you said, DJ Moore, Chris Godwin both look really, really good. Amon-Ra St. Brown dropped in price. He was pretty chalky last week, 6,600. On DK looks really good. Yeah, if you're spending up over 8K, I think Tyreek is probably the guy. Just his role is insane, and the Bears really have, like, I don't think any chance of stopping this offense. So if I was spending over 8K, it would be him. I will bring up Hopkins at 79. So you were kind of talking, you like Kyler Murray. Obviously, they have Woolen, who's like a bigger guy that will be able to match up with Hopkins. But, dude, 2 games back for Hopkins, almost a 50% target share, well over 50% of the air yards. Like, Kyler Murray just throws the ball a ton to DeAndre Hopkins, and he's only 7,900. So I think that's interesting. I don't know, like, if I'll be able to get there in cash if I'm playing Josh Allen. Hopefully we get some value opening up, but he's probably like my favorite spend up, honestly, just because he's the cheapest one of them all.
Yeah, he's another guy I decided to fade off FanDuel that I was on before I left for Iowa State. I can't get it out of my brain now. I absolutely had an amazing lineup. I'm actually looking back at what I sent you on Thursday. Kyler Murray, Mostert, actually Sanders, DJ Moore, Tyreek, Hopkins. Yeah, I mean, that's the winning lineup. I don't know. I came off it. But yeah, I'll probably go back to those guys. It's just going to be hard to get up all the way to the top this week. This does look like I feel like we haven't had a juicy top tier wide receiver ceiling week yet, but man, like Jefferson is due for like a 2 touchdown upside game. Why isn't he scoring touchdowns? It's really weird, but that Washington secondary sucks.
Yeah,
And I think he's going to get
they
loose.
got rid of William Jackson today. Like, he wasn't playing anyways. But I will say,
Yeah.
I will say that
Yeah.
Matt had a good stat in Discord a few weeks ago. I think all but 2 of his career touchdowns, Justin Jefferson, have come indoors, and this is going to be outside.
Interesting. Matt always has the weirdest stats. Like, I don't know how, but he always has the most unbelievable stuff. Any cheapies?
Two more
Cheap
guys
wide
that stuck out.
receivers.
Terry McLaurin, 59, 16 targets over the last 2 games since Taylor Heineke's back. Definitely interested in that. Maybe not for cash, more for tournaments. And then your boy got you a 0, I think. The last time you played him, Romeo Dobbs, is 5,300.
Oh,
But
God.
he's up against Detroit.
Yeah.
Christian Watson got concussed, so he was coming back, and it kind of seemed like they were going to feature him. And he went out with a concussion in that Sunday night game. Doubt he'll be able to play for this game. They're going to have to play Romeo Dobbs. Like, with some of their injuries and stuff, they just don't have the personnel to put anyone else in there. He's still getting deep shots. He did score a touchdown in that game, but he's getting deep looks. And, I mean, how bad is Detroit's defense, Like, he's only 5,300.
Yeah.
So you could definitely talk me back into him.
That's going to be, now that I think about it, didn't A.J. Dillon get hurt? We didn't bring up Aaron Jones at running back. I mean, I don't remember. I thought I saw, like, late on Sunday, A.J. Dillon was hurt. I don't know if you have an update on that, but Aaron Jones would be, like, an amazing play at running back this week in all
he's just
formats.
so, that would definitely, if he was, like, out or something, that would definitely affect things. But we'll have to see.
Regardless, he's a good tournament play. I mean, against this Lions team. And that's a dome game, too. I mean, that could be, like, the game of the week. I mean, I haven't even checked the Vegas totals. What's that total in that game, Ben? Let me load up Bet Karma. I'll check it out for us right now.
BetKarma.com, you can check for free what the total is on that game. Not only can you check what the total is, you can see public betting percentage. You can see where the sharp money is. This is behind the paywall at any other website, and you can access that for free on our website.
Legit free. I mean, I just opened up this. And again, I'm telling you live right now, doing this podcast with you, I did not check anything coming into this. It's the second highest total of the week. I mean, I guess people are going to be there, but at first glance, it kind of just went over my head. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of fantasy points, obviously, in this game. And, Amon-Ra, I mean, now that Hawkinson is gone, has to probably get an even higher upgrade in amount of targets, right? I mean, you would think. So, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's scary not playing Hill, Jefferson, Kupp, Adams, Diggs, even Hopkins for that matter. But it could be a week. I'm just saying it's early. It could be a week where you're building around a Moore and a Godwin and, even like you said, like a Dobbs to just make sure you can get everything else in. Anything else that you were eyeing up?
No, I think that about does it at receiver for the most part. I mean, we'll see. Paris Campbell's cheap at 42. Maybe, you could make the case for that or something. But we'll have to see later.
Dude, Sam Ellinger is his quarterback.
Yeah,
Don't
it's
even
just
go
not.
there.
It's just not good.
You know that.
It's not good. Tight end also just doesn't look good. I mean, I'm gonna be looking for the cheapest possible option here probably, but I mean, who really sticks out? If Darren Waller's out again, we could go back to Foster Moreau, but it kind of seemed like, to me, it kind of seemed like Waller was going to play, and then we got that news, Sunday
Yeah,
morning that he wasn't going to play. So
he's
I'm
probably back
assuming
this
he'll
week.
probably be
He'll
back.
probably be back.
So I mean, where's the value here? Like, are we going to have another situation where people just want to play Noah Fant because he's the only like sub 3K option? I mean, that was like the worst play of all
Even
time last week.
ever.
Like anyone
Didn't I
that's
say that
stuck
early in
with
the week?
Noah
I'm like, why are
Fant,
people even?
yeah, anyone that's stuck with Fant when those guys were back, like when DK was gonna play and stuff, like that was the worst move of all time. Like
Yeah,
no
like,
one
you're
should have
bad.
played him.
You're bad at DFS. Send me a heads up request
Yeah,
immediately.
so I don't know. I mean, do you see anybody cheap? I mean, this is like disastrous.
I do like a lot of guys. I do. I know it sounds weird. I like Higbee
You
a
like a lot of
but
guys? I mean,
do,
as of
but
now,
they're
Higbee
all
will
the
probably
same.
be chalk, right? I would guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, again, we're here to talk about the cash and we can talk about pivots, but I I do like him a fair amount here. Hawkinson, even Hayden Hurst, because again, he looked more active last night against the Browns.
Yeah, I played him in
I like
shootout. I
Tunyon
like
a lot.
Hayden
You know, like
Hurst.
I'm gonna take a hard look at that Green Bay game. Just depends on how my lineup shakes out and like who I get in there on either side of the ball. But like Tunyon looks good, man. Didn't he have a touchdown call back again? I mean, he's 3,800 dome game, high total. The receiving corpse is a corpse, pun intended. I don't know. It's gonna come down to something like that. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for now.
What's up with
Anything
do we
else
know
at
anything
tight
about
end?
Cam Brate? I mean, if he was out, just play Cade Otton at
Kate Otten at
31.
3,100.
I mean, I
Yeah,
know like he didn't do much in
he
that.
burned us last week, man. I played him in Showdown.
Yeah, I
So.
mean, he had a touchdown call back though, so I mean,
Oh, he did. I didn't know
yeah.
that.
And
All right.
he played like at least he's on the he's 3,100. At least I know he's like on the field a lot.
Yeah.
So maybe we get
Gun
something.
ahead. If it was Morneau and Otten again, would you take Otten? You took him last time, I think, over Foster.
If Waller was out, I would play Foster like on 100% of my teams probably almost.
But I thought you played Otten on the previous.
Yeah, a few
slate
weeks
when it
ago
was
I
the same
did, but
decision.
I don't know. I mean, it's just I don't know. I guess I'd have to think about it if Brade was out and he was out. But Hunter Henry's 3K flat too. I think that's probably fine. I mean, Indy's kind of like,
Absolutely not.
dude, bro. I'm looking for like 8 points here. Like I'm not asking for
I know.
a touchdown. I mean, Indy's a good
But
team to
wouldn't you just
target tight
rather-
ends against.
I know it's early in the week, but wouldn't you just? That's kind of what I was like going with a Tunyon. Like, wouldn't you rather find the extra 600 and just get a guy who's got some upside in a dome game and just
Yeah, but
roll with it?
so I'm trying to find
If you got the 600.
hopefully we
bucks.
get some value opening up, but I might need like if I'm playing Josh Allen in cash, I might need that 700.
Yeah, that's true. That's
So
true.
it'll just depend, I guess. I'm assuming like, I mean, we'll probably get at least some value. Like.
Yeah,
That's how this always works.
there
We'll
really
get
is
one
no
receiver that
real,
everyone's going to
as
play
of
that's
now,
like 4K.
value. Is
Yeah.
there? I mean, of this
There
entire
really
slate,
hasn't
like,
been
we don't really have huge value
for this season though, I mean, I feel like for the most part, like guys have been underpriced given their roles, but like there's been no like really cheap guys. Like it's been hard. Like I've needed money like each week to make my team. Like I've had to drop off people
Yeah.
for plays, but I mean like guys like Kenny Walker and stuff have been underpriced, but overall the pricing has been pretty tight.
All right, let's finish on defense. Any cheap punts that you are looking? I mean, that's what it is every week for me. It's a cheap punt, I guess.
I mean, you could look at like the Colts. The Jaguars are 31. I think they're fine. I don't see anyone like really, really cheap though. This is the first time there's been a 2K defense, I think, all year. The Jets. I'm not going to play the Jets, but I feel like they've been cutting it off at like 2,300. Yeah, I don't really. I guess the Lions at 26, man. I don't know. Rodgers looking a little rough over there in Green Bay.
Yeah,
They don't throw the ball. They don't throw the
early.
ball enough though to get like turnovers. I feel like they just run the ball. Aaron Rodgers would be like content if he could throw the ball 5 times a game, I think.
For my defense, check out my core plays. I'll dump it in there this week for you.
He's
guys.
not even giving out a
By the end of
pick.
this week.
I will say we didn't mention this at quarterback. We didn't mention this at quarterback yet. They have my take before we get out of here. Kirk Cousins revenge game in Washington.
Oh God, yeah. Wow.
I
Okay, I
would
like that. And
I
see,
would
I brought up Jefferson.
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
know.
saying.
We were talking about the indoor versus outdoor splits, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I do feel like there's some animosity there, and like, everyone hates Dan Snyder, so I don't know. Little Kirk Cousins game
yeah.
this
That
weekend.
that is super intriguing. Real quick, last thing. I'm actually looking at the Live Trends tool, which is a free tool, guys. I mean, we promote premium stuff. This is this thing is free. I absolutely love looking at the sharp percentage ratios for both the spreads and the totals, right? Because if you know where the sharp money's coming in on a total, it can help you for DFS for better or worse. And just real quick, there is a lot of money on the over in the Raiders Jaguars game, the Chargers Falcons game, which we didn't really talk about really any players there. We might have to because there could be wide receiver issues. We'll talk about that later. And then really, dude, there's like a lot of sharp money on a lot of unders this week. Unders in the Patriots
Yeah,
Colts
I
game.
feel like
Obviously,
that's kind of
Ellinger's
been the
there. So
theme of the season, though. But
Bengals, even the Jets Bills game. See, that's kind of a little bit. And it doesn't always mean everything, but it's just something. Remember, I was trying to draw some warts potentially if I could on the
dude,
Josh Allen play. It looks like there's a lot of money
you're gonna
on the
play
under.
Josh Allen by the time we get to the
Yeah, I
weekend.
know. I'll probably play him for sure. I mean, he's just
Like
a
it's
cheat
just
code.
like
It's just,
you're gonna play him. Like it's just there's no reason not to. I don't think, but
but all right, guys. Well, that's it. And week 9 this week. Yeah, week 9. So
yeah.
we're moving forward. We've got a lot of length of the season left. Again, we talked about a lot of stuff on both websites. We would humbly appreciate and be grateful for your support with us and subscribing to one of our premium products if you're not already. If not, definitely be checking out all the stuff that is free on both websites. Until next week, Ben and I will speak to you then.